Life isn't perfect, and neither are we.
Nope. But we know how to face our fears
And have some fun.
and talk about all the messiest things of life.
Like the messiest things.
Get connected to yourself, get connected to others, and get connected to the life right in front of you.
This is The Connected Life with Justin and Abby.
That's me.
That's you.
And you. Oh, hey there.
Oh, hey there.
Oh, hey, hey.
Oh, hey, hey, hey.
I'm going to tell on you.
You can tell me for what?
A couple minutes ago, I was going to the bathroom, and you yelled at me and said, "Hurry up in there and get off your phone." And I said, "I'm pooping. Leave me alone."
Huh. So that's I love that introduction. It's a great intro.
I realized as I was halfway through it, it was not a funny story.
No, but it is it's an inviting.
It's a true story.
It's what do you call it?
I mostly was laughing because I was like, it is not my phone that is taking so long.
Let me back up. Welcome to marriage. There is like this mysterious door that you never see behind with women until you get married. And then you get married and then you cross that mysterious door and you go, "Oh,
You're the same.
you're just like us." Yeah.
Some women don't do that though. You just
My
married
mom, okay, the mystery of the woman, she held on to the mystery of a woman for
She's a better woman than me.
the majority of their marriage until her stomach almost exploded. My mom wouldn't fart around my dad.
Yeah.
And so she always had really bad stomach pain because she refused. And it wasn't until my mid-20s that I heard her fart. I think it was my mid-20s,
Oh my
early
gosh.
20s. And she like farted and I'm like, what? And it was one of those moments where I could see my dad be like, "Boy, right now, do not make a big deal about this or it'll never happen again."
That's funny.
So
Actually, you know what?
she has that kind of like mischievous grin when it happens.
Oh yeah, she's
like,
real free. She's hysterical.
She is so funny.
She is
She's
funny
a
and witty.
woman.
I love her because she has a sense of humor that gets along with you and I.
Yeah, my mom can put up with some of the most like when we send Christmas cards. They'll just be absurd jokes, the absurd Christmas cards that sometimes verge on sexually inappropriate or just socially inappropriate or sarcasm,
Yep.
whatever it is. It's all mixed in, and
She loves it.
yeah,
She sends us some of the best cards too.
she does, and she has to have a sense of humor with a son like me.
Yeah, that was the only way to survive.
I'm tame so far on this podcast.
Even so tame.
So
I'm the one. I've talked about poop twice, and you've looked at me like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
and I was like, "How are you the conservative one?"
yeah, how am I? You know, but if you've listened to my other podcasts that I previously had, I was not conservative at all in that, and that shows a little bit less conservative side of Justin.
We'll find out. We'll see if I can get you.
I'm toning it down in the
across the
beginning
line.
for the new listeners.
Oh, to suck them in, so that
And then
they
I'm gonna
like
set
you
them all on
enough.
fire.
They like you enough.
Like,
that they're
yeah, but I kind of like him, so I'm going to let that go. I actually have been someone in my life where I kind of am the guy that gets away with something.
Murder.
Yeah.
Murder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too, but I
am.
I accidentally do things. Like I don't know they're inappropriate. Like when I started this story about poop, I thought it was going to be funny, and then you looked at me like, "That's awkward. Why are you saying that?" And then I realized, oh,
Yeah.
but I don't know it,
Yeah,
so I get away with a lot
yeah.
because it's like accidental inappropriateness.
Yeah, and you do that a lot on stage. Abby will be up speaking, and she'll make sexual innuendos, not on purpose.
Gosh. Yes.
Like she'll just say stuff that are like, I mean, what the reality is in our culture, everything's
Everything
a
could be a
sexual
sexual
innuendo.
innuendo. Yep.
You know, it's like the word
Totally.
phone. Ha ha. What does that mean? Something new,
That's
sexual.
not a thing.
Yeah, but you'll get up there and you'll say stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, did she just say that from the platform?
I know.
And she's still smiling. And the thing is
The problem is, I often hear it after I've said it.
and then after people have settled, because
They laugh so hard.
well, they either laugh or they settle, realizing you're sweet and you're innocent, and they let it go, which
Yeah.
you're not. She's not sweet and innocent. Between you and I, the person listening right now, She's not sweet and innocent.
I am.
But she's just so sweet and innocent, they let it go. But then she realizes what she said. Then she has to bring it back up on stage.
I know, I'm the worst.
And awkwardly drag it through the mud and make more out of it. And then half the audience that didn't get
They
what was
didn't
going
get it
on,
the first time. Now they get it.
Now they're like, oh my gosh.
Can you believe she just said that?
How is she speaking to us? Why is she allowed up there? Anyway, so, hey, what are we talking about today?
And we're talking about
continuation of our story.
We're wrapping it up.
Yeah, so this is going to be one of the, if not the final one, the second to final one of our story. And then we're going to
I think we do our story and then we talk about sex.
Oh, yeah. Giggity.
Oh, ugh.
Ugh.
I mean, I love sex. That noise was about your giggity, not about the sex. Giggity. I hate that. Ugh. It's a thing that a character says on a TV show, and the character sticks me out too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, aside from that, we're going to get into the last part of our story.
Let's jump in.
Yeah, let's do this.
We met each other. We liked each other. We were just friends. He told me he'd never, ever marry me. And then we ended up falling back into each other's arms. And then we started dating. And so now you have caught up. You didn't even have to listen to the past 2 episodes. But if you want to hear the details, you can. And that leads us to March 1st. We started dating.
Yep. And
March 4th is when you landed in America because he was in England when we started dating. Yep. And then March 22nd is when he proposed. Now, the interesting thing.
So there's a total of from beginning to there.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks, which is why I was thoroughly surprised when you proposed because I had no idea it was coming.
Well, okay. I was surprised too. So let's get into why Justin was surprised at the proposal and all the things that happened.
Yeah.
So I want to back up. We're about 2 weeks into dating. Or a week and a half.
Those days really count when there's only 3 weeks.
Yeah, those days flew by. We're about a week and a half or so into dating, and at this point, I'm already bought in.
I think you knew you were happy to marry me
when I asked her to
date.
But again, we had let's back up for 1 second.
We had faded for a long time.
Been best friends and stuff for like 8 months.
We had talked on the phone for 8 months.
There was a whole history of a relationship. Yeah. It wasn't like, hey, want to date? Oh, I guess we should marry now.
Yeah.
There was a lot happening in our relationship and connection. We processed a lot.
8 months is still fast, but yeah.
But into our official dating process now that we've re-engaged, we're having a dialogue, a conversation about marriage.
Yeah. Well, and so I guess I should say this. Justin's best friend at the time told me he is a bachelor, Abby, through and through. He is
Thanks for nothing, Dustin.
He is 5 years away from getting married. So I knew dating him, I was like, I'm just going to have to hold on. It's going to be a long time till he's ready to get married, but I like him, so I'm going to go on the journey.
Yeah.
So Justin brings up marriage one night.
Yeah, somehow I'm talking about marriage. I don't even know the context of all of it. I'm actually probing.
Yeah, you're probing. Right? Like, what do you feel?
Now, let me back up again.
Oh, so many backing up.
Backing
beep,
up.
Beep, beep.
Yeah, I know. I'm a garbage truck backing up. But I had already planned out at this point that I was going to ask her to marry me.
Extravagant.
And I had planned out an extravagant proposal. So we're 1.5 or 2 weeks into this. And I'm just like, I need to just ask her. There's no point in just dating. We just need to get this on into engagement.
Yeah.
So I'd planned out this extravagant proposal, called people, and we'll tell you all about the proposal and all that stuff in a minute. But so everything was prepped for it. But now I'm poking around.
Yeah, you're like, marriage, what do you think? And I think you're 5 years away. Don't bring up marriage.
Right.
We're not, I was one of those, I don't want to talk about it for a long time if we're not close to doing it. Like talking about it for years sounds horrible. So I was like, I think I'm saying let's not talk about it till we're ready to do it.
And lost in translation for me, was all I heard was, I don't want to get married. Like I'm not anywhere close to that. I don't want to get married anytime soon.
Which I never said that.
And so I'm having a bit of a meltdown because I'm like, do I shut this whole weekend down? Now, here's the thing. I planned the weekend out, or this proposal extravaganza for her birthday.
Yeah.
So her birthday, that's on the 22nd.
No.
You want to fill him in on that one?
So Justin did plan out a birthday extravaganza for me on the 22nd. However, that's not my birthday. My birthday is the 21st.
We had been going back and forth. I was sure it was the 22nd.
Oh,
I'd be
I
like,
thought
"Oh,
he
your
was
birthday on the
joking.
22nd, right?" And she'd be like, "Yeah,
I would like elbow him and be like, my birthday's the 21st. And he'd be like, your birthday's the 22nd.
So I thought she was just goofing around, trying to throw me
I
off.
also thought he was goofing around.
So I'm convinced it's the 22nd. So I got this whole birthday.
This matters.
extravaganza.
We're not just telling you needless
Yeah, we're just
details.
not rambling old people. Sometimes we are.
Yeah.
Or old man. So anyways, I go into kind of a bit of a spin or a spiral.
Yeah. Should I propose now?
I guess I'm not going to propose, and I got this ring and everything, and I guess that's not going to work out. So what am I going to do? I'm going to make it still a birthday extravaganza. It's going to be the best birthday she's ever had, and that's it. We'll let it go, and we'll figure out a proposal another time.
So the first part of the trip was that you took me to Rodeo Drive.
Oh,
or
yeah.
was it Melrose? One of those.
Melrose or Rodeo?
Yeah.
It was Melrose.
Yeah, Melrose.
Took you to Melrose where there was all this shopping. Now, this is before that day.
Yeah,
About
like a week before.
A week before, yeah.
And he was like, I want you to pick out 2 outfits. One that's like more casual that you feel really good in, and one that is dressy that you feel really good in.
Whatever you want. There's like no expense on it. And at that time, I mean, we're in our early 20s and like, we're
broke. I'm broke.
Yeah, she's broke, and I have some savings, but I'm working for bare minimum. I'm a good saver.
Yeah. So he tells me that, and we try on clothes, and I find this outfit that I think is great. And then I see the price tags, and it was diesel jeans, which I had never bought in designer jeans in my life. I'd never thought about it. I was like, I honestly
and they were like $200 or $250
No,
or something?
they were like $180.
180?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or less.
Something like that. And that was 12 years ago when I was in my early 20s. So I get that you were...
Oh, that was like $5 million.
Yeah, you're having a meltdown.
I have never had jeans.
Weirdest thing ever happened in this store.
Oh, 100%. I said, if you buy those jeans for me, I will break up with you.
And I was like, this is so weird.
I couldn't handle it. I was like, no, you can't buy me. I can get like 5 shirts at Ross and 3 pairs of jeans for this price. Like, let me go get some real clothes. Uh-huh. So it was, and then, so we walked out of the store. He didn't buy them for me. Thank you for listening to me. And what did you tell me?
What did I tell you?
He said, I am not like anyone in your life who had, like, the people in your life that haven't been willing to budget and take care of you financially in the past.
I'm different than the people in your life in those ways.
I have budgeted for this. You need to check your heart because of the pain that you've had with people not buying you things. You need to be able to receive.
Not expressing your value through gifts and stuff like that.
And so
Absolutely.
I felt very impacted by that.
Because I could see your pain inside of it and a place of unworthiness. It was like, I don't deserve
so much
this.
unworthiness.
This isn't okay. And I was like, no, like you're going to learn how to receive.
Yeah. So we parted ways and I ended up buying clothes. He said I had to give him the receipts though. He said, you cannot buy 10 things with the money that I give you. You have to buy nice things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did. And then we went on the 22nd.
However, okay. So 22nd rolls around and we're going to Ojai, California. Now, if you haven't been to Ojai, California, it's this quaint, cute little town.
It's adorable. It's the town in Easy A.
Yeah, if you've seen the movie Easy A, that's where we went for this special occasion. And I have all these plans to go on this beautiful hike up in the mountains because we liked going out and hiking together and stuff.
Yep.
And then after the hike, I have this plan to take you to the spa at this local golf resort.
A resort? Mm-hmm. It's an amazing resort. It looks like Italy.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And there at that place, after you get ready, we have this dinner that's set up. Now,
there was a million other things. We're trying to spare you all the details.
Yeah, all the details.
Everything was planned out.
I will say this. Between the time that we had our walk and our journey and all kinds of things that we did before dinner and getting ready at the spa, we had a moment on a side of the road. Do you want to tell them about that?
No.
You don't want to tell them about that? That was so funny.
You tell them about that.
I thought it was funny.
It is funny.
We're sitting in the truck on the side of the road and we're having a little makeout sesh, you know? We're laying back, the seats are down, we're having a little makeout sesh. And all of a sudden I get this internal like feeling. I go, oh, a police officer's behind me walking up to the truck.
So he stops.
I stop immediately.
But doesn't tell me anything.
Nothing. I just stop and I sit up and this cop is right at my door at that point. And I was like, what'd I say?
I'm a virgin.
I say, she's a virgin.
It's
okay. She's a virgin. We're not doing anything.
She's a virgin.
Do you remember that?
It still brings me joy.
It's
okay. She's a virgin.
I'm like, because I'm like trying to communicate. I didn't have sex with her. We're not sitting here doing anything really bad.
Totally.
This cop's like trying not to lose it laughing. He's just looking at me. He goes,
and you said that because you're like, if I say I'm a virgin, that'd be a lie.
Right. He won't
I'm just kidding.
He probably wouldn't have bought into me saying I'm a virgin.
Totally.
Which I wasn't. But
yeah.
You know. So anyways, he's like, okay, well, we got a report that some people are sitting over here doing better not get too nasty over here.
Yeah.
We'll be called back. And I was like, okay, sir. Funny part was that cop and his partner, as they're driving away, Abby didn't see this, but they look over at me and they give me big smiles and 2 thumbs up. Both of them. It was the best moment. I was like, yeah, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
You know, so anyways,
Those
that was
a
fun little side note. Anyways. Yep. So fast forward, we end up at dinner.
Yeah, and it's sunset overlooking this beautiful view.
It just so happened it was the first night of the year that they opened up their balcony overlooking this entire golf course,
mountains, sunset.
Oh,
it's amazing.
Dreamy, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for a better night, better experience.
So I have a kind of a meltdown all of a sudden. I had been feeling that whole week like something in a relationship needs to change, but I didn't know what needed to change.
Oh, yeah. And I can see this. She's losing it in her face. And I'm like, what is happening all of a sudden? Because it feels like the perfect night so far.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I got to go to the bathroom, to which Justin's like.
I was like, do you have to go to the bathroom?
Or are you just going to the bathroom? Like, are you literally going to pee?
Yeah. Because I'm trying to figure out, like, are you going to have your meltdown or do you actually have to use the restroom?
Yeah, it's because you know me well.
I
didn't say, I just said, I'm going to the bathroom.
You stormed off. And then I stormed off.
And then I actually was like, okay, I'm in the bathroom and I'm thinking, I just realized that my heart was in a place that I couldn't last 5 years. I was like, I really like him. I don't know how to pull my heart back in order to last for a long time. And I think that if I'm in love with you and you're not even close to marriage, that's not fair to you.
Yeah. Like why? Part of you even was like, why am I wasting my time in this?
Well, no, it wasn't.
Or
why
you're
am I
wanting
wasting
something?
No, it was me being like, it's not fair to you if I want to get married and you're not there yet. You're always going to feel nagged by me and whatever. Yeah. So I pretty much was like, okay, if he doesn't do something that lets me know he's as serious as I am tonight, I'm going to break up with him.
Which again, we're 3 weeks into this dating relationship.
But I'm thinking 5 years. I had like hit the end of my heart.
As insane as what I'm about to do is.
Yeah.
Equally as insane on your end that you expect that something should be that real at that moment.
Well, no, I didn't expect it. I just recognized I didn't expect that you should be there.
Right.
I'm saying.
Right, but I'm just saying part of you.
My heart couldn't hold back any longer. I had managed my heart really well the whole time.
Which I think the only reason that this was happening for her at this point anyways is because of what's about to happen.
Yeah, I knew that something needed to change.
Something was going to change.
I knew it in my gut that the relationship, the way it was, needed to transition. And I didn't know how to transition it. The only transition I thought was backwards.
Did you call anybody on the phone at that point?
I don't think so.
You were just having your meltdown in the bathroom. I called my friend at the time, Dustin, who had given her just faulty information. Jerk. And I'm just freaking out because I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't even know if she's coming back because you've been gone like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I literally didn't know if you left.
Totally.
I was like, I don't know where she went or how she got out of here, but she's not here. Anyways,
I came back.
Long story short, she comes storming back and Dustin gets hung up on. And she sits down, and I don't know why. This is more insane than anything else.
Yeah.
We're sitting there. We're having this moment where I'm looking at how beautiful her eyes are. The sun's now completely set.
The music is
playing. There's like fire overhead with
the heaters
they had, and her eyes are sparkling. And I have this moment where I'm like, this is the perfect day. With the perfect person. And there's no way that I could replicate this.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd create another proposal. And I know she doesn't want to get married, but I don't know. I feel like I need to do something. And then I break. And out of my mouth, I'm kind of like laughing at the absurdity of it. And you're like, what?
Yeah. And then you finally say,
I'm like, the truth is I was going to ask you to marry me tonight. And then you said you didn't want to get married. And I'm just like verbal diarrhea.
Totally.
Why is this coming out of my mouth? This wouldn't even make sense. Anyone with any logic would be like, don't say that. Why would you say that?
And then it's like my whole life changed. I had no idea you were close to wanting to marry me.
She literally has this moment where she's like, you want to marry me? You want to marry me?
You want to marry me?
And I'm like, oh my God. She wants me to ask her to marry her.
Yeah. I was like so swooning. I couldn't believe you went. It was the best moment of my life. Like one of them. I'm sure there was more, but maybe. That was one of the best moments of my life because I had no idea you were at that place. None. And to like hear that you want, I mean, it was just like, I was putty. I was a puddle, a mess.
Absolutely. And I can see that she's putty in my hand at this point. I'm like, oh, I have all control over this situation. Like I'm in the driver's seat. But I'm like, I can't just like suddenly get down on a knee right here. And I had a plan. I'd already had a plan anyways. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it here. So I look at her and I go, but I'm going to respect you. This is how I shut her down because I know that she'll keep talking about it. Say, but I'm going to respect you because it sounded like you didn't want to talk about marriage until you're ready and everything. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to do that. You're not ready.
Yeah.
To which you kind of like...
I couldn't say anything.
Yeah.
I was like, you're respecting me, and this is stupid. And I'm thinking, why did we ever have that conversation? Why did that mistake happen? Why did that miscommunication happen? This is so frustrating. Oh, my gosh. I need to get engaged. I know. My gut was saying it was time for a transition to happen. I just didn't know it was this kind of transition. And so I'm like scrolling through all the things, and by that point we had left the restaurant and
we'd taken a trip to my truck and grabbed some clothes. I actually had
brought pajamas
because I had this beautiful plan to go out under the stars, under the full moon. It was a full moon that night.
You'd brought in blankets for us to lay on.
So that we could just chill out under the stars, no one around whatsoever, right? So we were in our pajamas. We're out on this golf course. And I don't have a ring because the ring that I had, I left at home because I wasn't planning on proposing.
Yep.
So here's the kicker. I have to come up with a solution. And at this point, I had already exchanged gum with her, given her some gum.
Yep.
So that I could make out with her and her mouth would taste good.
Oh my God.
But I'd given her some gum and I crafted a gum wrapper ring. I still remember it. It was wintergreen. It was a green wrapper.
Yep, it was a green wrapper.
And I crafted a ring for her, hoping that it would fit on her finger.
Yep.
And I decided, well, I at least got to have a ring. Here it is.
Yep.
So get out under that big full moon.
And you were being so weird about the blanket. I was like, you have to be a man. Like I can't help you put the blanket down.
No, because my plan was to, as I'm putting the blanket down, it's a reason for me to be on my knee and then stand up. And I'm like, no, I got this. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. I'm like, this is such a weird thing to be intense about.
In that moment, I just went for it.
Yeah, you did.
I was like, Abby, will you marry me? I may have said some nice stuff too.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
Nope.
But I remember her response because she started laughing uncontrollably.
No, that's not what happened. You don't remember my response.
Yes, you did.
I fell over.
But I was about to say that. You start laughing uncontrollably as you fall over.
No, I fell over. And
Did you
then
just fall over? Then you start laughing uncontrollably.
I fell over.
This is why you get married, so that they remember the details.
I love that you were so convinced you remembered, though.
Yeah.
No, I fell over because I was so shocked by it. I was so shocked, and I was like, thank God I had the warning back there.
Start laughing.
Because I'm like, who falls over when they get proposed to? That's not a real reaction. Most people cry
but then you're
or
laughing,
scream.
And so then I feel a little bit like, I don't know what to do with this.
Is she laughing at me?
Yeah. Am I foolish? So at this point, I'm sitting on top of you.
Yeah, you crawled on top of me and you just shoved
and I grabbed your
finger
finger and I just shoved the ring on it.
Yep.
I'm like,
You're marrying me.
You are marrying me.
Yeah. Then I said, I didn't say yes. And then I said, yes. Just like that.
So
as a giddy little schoolgirl.
That was beautiful, but here's the magic twist.
Here's the twist.
And the reason that we're telling you guys this story and bringing you in on this is it's part of the magic that we talked about earlier in going on a journey and not having it all figured out, not having to do it all perfectly, and realizing like as you're on these journeys, like the extra stuff that goes wrong ends up being so right at times.
Absolutely.
So this ring. There's something special about this ring and something unique about our day and our time of this and how this all played a role in it. Now, 2 years previous to this moment, a little over 2 years, I had
a vision,
an internal vision in my mind. Like I saw this picture of this wedding ring out of nowhere, right?
Yep.
And I feel like this internal voice say, go buy this ring. Which I'm like, I wasn't dating anyone. I wasn't going to be with anyone. I'm like, why would I buy that ring?
Totally.
Now, within the next 10 to 15 minutes, and I don't have any money. I mean, it was just, I was in college. I was broke. Within the next 10 to 15 minutes, I get a phone call from someone and they say, hey, I know this is going to sound really weird, but I feel like I'm supposed to give you a large chunk of money. And it's specifically for something. And you know what it's for, and you need the money for it.
So crazy.
So I'm supposed to give you this large chunk of money, which was, I'm like, this is absurd. What is happening?
Right.
Right after I get that, I end up like seeing these different things I'm supposed to do to go on this journey. And then I end up feeling this inner voice tell me to call an old friend of mine from my very first year of college in Montana.
Yeah.
And this plays a huge role in this. Now, this friend from Montana, he had kind of part-time worked at a jewelry store back in the day. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to ask him a little bit about, like, what do I do? How do I get the ring? This is the ring I'm looking for. It just so happens he now manages the store. So I call him after years of not talking to him, tell him, like, what I'm looking for. And he goes, I manage this store. And because I manage this store, I'm going to get you the ring at my cost. So I'm going to get you an amazing ring. And he said, this ring that I'm looking at, he says, it comes in this special packaging and you're going to love it. It's just unique. I've never seen a ring packaged like this before. Mm-hmm. Let's fast forward. So here we are. Tell them about the 22nd and the 23rd. What's special about this?
We should have looked this detail up, but somewhere between 70 and 190 years. I can't remember. We can never
forget the details. You can look it up on Google it.
Yeah. But it's like once in every 100 years. Does Easter come early enough to be
on the
near
23rd.
The 21st of it? It's 23rd.
Yeah.
And so once in a lifetime, Easter comes as early as my birthday.
Yep.
So it just so happened that
once in a lifetime.
That my birthday this weekend ended up being on Easter weekend
as well.
And so my birthday was Friday.
I didn't even take into consideration as Easter weekend. No. It's so weird.
No. My birthday was Friday, but Justin thought my birthday was Saturday. Mm-hmm. So he planned the whole event for Saturday. Then he didn't bring the ring, so he couldn't propose to me Saturday. So we get home early morning, like 1:30 in the morning.
From Ojai.
From Ojai on Sunday morning, which is Easter morning.
And she's geeking out, wanting to see her ring, which is
I'm like so
justifiable.
Excited.
Yeah, you haven't got this ring. Like, where's my ring? So I go run over and I grab the ring. And as soon as I pull this ring out of its box, I hear Jim's voice in my head. I remember that conversation that had happened 2 years prior of him saying, there's something so special about this container. I pull it out. I'm looking at it. And it's this Fabergé egg that opens in the middle and the ring's inside of it. Mm-hmm. And I hand her this Fabergé egg on Easter morning. She gets an Easter egg Easter morning that I hand over to her.
It was magic. But here's the funny thing. We always thought that was like so incredible. Like those events worked out, the dates, all the things better than we could have ever planned.
I was made to look like a rock star and I was just some idiot young kid who didn't know what he was doing.
But the funny thing is we were just telling a part of this story the other day. We're 10 years into marriage and the couple across from us goes, that's so symbolic since you had killed this relationship. Like you had been asked to kill it and let it die. And then on Easter morning, it was like the full resurrection of the promise. And I'm like, oh, that is symbolic. How did I never see that?
Yeah.
It is. It got brought back to life. It was so symbolic. And so it was pretty magical to get an Easter egg filled with diamonds on Easter morning.
Yeah. What woman doesn't want an Easter egg filled with diamonds on Easter morning?
Yep.
Right?
It's amazing. But I do think that our story, when I think about it, our whole story was us fumbling around, not knowing what we're doing. Because dating is this thing. Yeah. And I think this is about every season in life. You are typically doing things you've never done before. When you have kids, you've never been a parent before.
Yep.
When you get a new job, you've never had that job before. Like you've never been 40 before. You've never been 50 before. Like we're always breaking grounds on things we've never done before. And I think the goal is never to be perfect, to have perfection,
or to have
to figure out how to get it all done.
Because the plan
never works.
It never does.
Yeah. And so you had so surrendered to the plan. And I think what I've learned is intentionality matters. So you intentionally put a lot of energy towards creating a good experience. And then what happened is all the events played out in a way that made it even better than you could have.
And there's a big part, like there's a word called surrender. And surrender kind of sounds like an ugly word because it denotes passivity for a lot of people in the way that they understand it. But to me, surrender is not a passive choice, but it's a proactive choice. It's I'm choosing to step up to the table and go, this is the best I know how to give.
Yep.
And I'm going to posture my heart in a way that says, I trust God, I trust life, I trust the universe with all the details. I trust everything else out here with the details. This is all I know how to do. And I'm going to be at peace with things not having to be controlled and not having to look a very specific way. And that's one of the foundational things that really was written inside of me, especially even in my journey of marriage, is learn how to live a life of surrender.
Yeah.
Learn how to live a life of trust, that you're going to get to these new monumental moments in life and you're not going to have all the answers. And the truth is, I could have tried to control all that. I could have said, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to force through with this. And I have to have it look this way. I just surrendered and said, okay, well, I guess we're not going to get engaged this weekend. And I'm just going to go with, I'm going to let it transition. I didn't have a meltdown. I didn't end the whole weekend. I just go, let's adjust with the plan. And again, what happens is it's in that place where surprises that write a story better than we could ever write happen.
100%. And I think that's a part of abundant mentality. We're going to talk a lot on this show about our beliefs because our life is always filtered through our beliefs and we always have self-fulfilling prophecies based on our beliefs. And so it's like a very important thing is what are you believing? And one of our core value beliefs is you do your best and you trust that everything is going to come together around that. Like you give your best and then you trust. I remember in school when I was a kid, there'd be times I'm dyslexic, and part of the dyslexia that I wasn't aware of is the flakiness of forgetting details. I'd forget assignments sometimes. So I'd be laying in bed at night and I'd all of a sudden remember I had a test the next day or I had an assignment due, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I forgot. And I just remember I would just pray. I'd be like, God, help me, please. And it was never because I didn't intentionally want to do good in school. It was, I was doing my best.
I was giving my 100%.
I just didn't know how to go around that. And every time without fail, the next day it would be like, oh, I decided not to collect that assignment today. Or, oh, I decided to wait another week before the test. And I just felt this like, I can say if you will start to look for how things work out for your good. It's one of my favorite characters in Marvel is the character. Is it Marvel?
Yeah. Domino.
I love Domino. Her superpower is luck. She just believes things will work out well for her. And I have actually like purposefully in my life tried to engage that belief system. I've tried to look for how is this going to work out good for me? And believing like when things happen, like I remember when I found out that Justin was like, no, we're not going to talk about marriage. I was like, oh my gosh, no, this was supposed to happen. And so that belief when you have disappointment, like this is going to work out for my good. I don't have to know how, I don't have to understand the plan, but it is all going to work out for our good.
And you know, in the journey of life, there's a lot of disappointments that we run into. It's real. We form expectations about what we want life to be or how we hope it'll be. And it doesn't happen that way. And sometimes they're really tragic.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the tragedy or the mistakes that happen that come along the way, I don't think that life is designed in a way of like, this was meant to happen and this had to happen. I think life just happens.
Yeah.
But the grace of it is in the midst of the mess, the tragedies, the losses, that when we live a lifestyle of trust and surrender, it says, but I'm making room for goodness to goodness, joy, life, abundance to happen in the midst of tragedy, loss, everything else that comes along the way.
Yeah. And I really think that trust is such an incredible It's an incredible belief system to trust in something bigger than you. I'm not alone. I don't have to figure all of this out.
I'm not like an orphaned kid who's all alone. And trust also is like spitting in the face of fear and saying, fear, I'm not actually going to let you be my God. I'm not going to let you be my highest authority. I'm not going to let you write the story of my life. It's coming out of agreement with fear inside of our hearts and our minds.
Yeah. And I think about our story. I'm like, we were both crazy back then. I mean, like, you bought a ring and you weren't dating anyone, and I was going to break up with you after 3 weeks of dating.
Before we were even friends, I'd show people my nut job ring. I'd be like, hey, look, I got a nut job ring. I felt like I was supposed to buy this. There ain't nobody in my... I don't
think you should call it a nut job. Like, this is a ring that shows I'm a nut, maybe. I don't know. Nut job ring sounds so funny.
Phrasing.
But
it was like my crazy ring, right? You know, and I was even at the point where I was about to sell it.
Right. Tell them what you're going to buy.
I was going to sell it for a video camera to do more video work. But I didn't. I felt like something inside of me said, do not sell this. There's purpose to this. And you're not actually crazy. But when you look at our stories from a distance, you go, oh, that person may just be crazy.
Yeah. When I look back at our story, I'm like, wow, it was written so beautifully and every detail fell into place. But when I was in the middle of the story, it felt messy and up and down and all around. And probably the people around us kind of thought that too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I would have thought.
This is the beautiful mess.
Yeah.
It's the beautiful mess. And this is the invitation for you, whatever season you're in life, you're in a season that's going to be messy.
Yeah.
And you can find the beauty in it, and you can trust that things will work out for your good.
And I think part of the things that I want people to take away from this is, with the connected life and being connected to the world in front of you, is the only way that we can get connected first and foremost is living a trust-filled life.
Yeah.
In a posture of surrender. Because otherwise we're being driven by fears. We're actually not connected to the moment. We're trying to make it be something that it's not meant to be, or we're trying to alter it in ways that ends up making it worse off for us anyways.
Yeah.
So first off, part of being connected is letting go of our relationship with fear and control and learning how to trust. And I think the other part of it is, in the middle of your journey of your life, we can create a lot of judgment. Yeah. We're going to talk a lot in this podcast in the future about judgment and self-judgment and how it drives us and it causes us to make poor decisions. But you can look at your story and be like, oh, I'm a failure. I'm not enough. I can't believe I'm doing it this way. I should know better. I should be able to do this better. When if you let go of your relationship with judgment, you just go, I'm just proud of myself for trying.
Yep.
You know, me as a little kid, there was a lot of pain in my childhood with my family. And I could have looked at my journey and been like, what's wrong with me? I'm an idiot. I should know how to date. I don't why don't I have this figured out? Instead, I get to look at myself and go, oh, that kid decided to choose life, even though childhood and marriage, he saw a marriage that was messy.
Yeah.
He chose marriage. He chose relationship. He was doing the best he knew how to do with the tools he was given. You know, and we need to begin to learn how to celebrate ourselves and not judge our journey, not judge our story, because we haven't seen the full written story.
100%.
And some of you are 50 years into your story, 60 years into your story that are going to listen to this, and you still can't judge your story because it's not done. You haven't seen the end and what it's all being added up to.
So true. I'm going to actually share another part of our story that is about this.
Yeah.
So the one thing I had always I prayed about little silly things like diamonds. My mom always took me to jewelry stores as a little girl and would have me look at them.
Thanks for nothing, Mom.
Totally. And she would and she always told me she was saving money to give my husband for a ring, except she was horrible with money, so she never actually did that.
Again, thanks for nothing,
false expectations, Mom. Thanks. But it was important to her. She kind of trained me that jewelry was important. And so I had prayed for my ring before, and all I had really prayed was that it would be unique. That's all I wanted. And so he had picked out an eternity set, which is 3 stones and has lots of symbolism, but it's a decently common setting. And so,
which I had never seen. I never once looked at a ring before. I just saw the picture in my head. I didn't even know if it existed, what I said.
Yeah, I know. I love it. And so he got me this ring and I was in no way disappointed. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Diamonds! Wow! I loved it. I was so excited. I joked with my mom that it's good that he didn't have the ring with him when he asked me, because I probably would have said yes just for the ring.
Oh.
Yeah, just for the diamonds, because
Yeah.
I thought they were so pretty.
That's sensible.
But so it was a normal setting, and I remember just being like, okay, but this is not like what I had wanted. All I wanted was unique. That's all I wanted, and this is not that. And I remember feeling this feeling.
That hurts just a little bit.
Yeah, your ring sucked. I remember feeling this feeling. I heard this voice inside say, I have, there's more to this ring that is coming. And just like Justin isn't everything that you want, there is more to the story coming where he will eventually be what you want. Like, you think this isn't what you wanted. You think this isn't fully what you asked for, but you haven't seen the full picture yet. You haven't seen the end of the story, which is what you're saying. And so I remember thinking, okay, that was a really good promise for me, because there was things about Justin that I was like, this is not what I imagined. This is not who I thought. Like, we all have our lists.
Whoa, what are you saying here? I didn't check every box.
You didn't check every box. You checked the most important boxes, which we'll talk
you didn't
about.
even have the right boxes. Okay. If you had the right list, I would have checked it all.
Well, you had things on my list that were non-negotiable.
Yeah, I did.
Yes. And I think there are some things that you should never, ever let go of. Like, I tell people the 3 things that matter is that you have somebody that loves you and wants to choose you.
Yeah.
And that is going to go on the journey of love. Like, they're hungry to learn how to love you well. Like, they want to learn, and somebody who will see a counselor and who gets feedback and willing to grow.
Yep.
Those are the things I think are most important. If you get somebody who is
work it all out,
working on their stuff and willing to get feedback and hungry to be the best version of themselves, you can figure it out. Yeah. So those are the non-negotiables. But, what I was going to say is you weren't everything. And so there was some things that I was like, oh, I don't know about this. And that really brought me peace. And so when we got married, we were traveling around the U.S. for 6 months.
Which at some point we're going to tell you guys about that story.
Yep.
Because that's where we got all the bumps and bruises.
Oh, that's where we realized how crazy we were.
Yeah.
I already knew how crazy you were.
No, I knew how crazy you were.
But I learned how crazy I was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're going on the journey, and everywhere we'd go, I'd look for a ring, like bands to go, so that it looked like I was
What was your
married.
dream, though, for the ring?
I wanted a band on each side that had as many diamonds as possible.
Yeah, it was all blingy.
Blingy as possible. And I said, I want a ring at a going out of business sale for 70% off.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm not about spending money. I just want...
Which is a tall order.
Cute things. Yeah. So we went to every store and we would look, and I found several things that I liked, and Justin would be like, I just don't feel like this is the right one. And it took so much for me to trust you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was like a big deal.
I'd be like, no, not that. That's not it.
Yeah.
Not it. Not it.
So you're
I
like...
I knew we'd know it when we saw it.
Yeah.
I always follow my knower.
You are an intuitive person.
Yeah.
But for me to see something I liked and have you just say no, but not know if there's going to be a yes, it took me a lot of trust. And I feel like that was one of the things that glued us together, is us learning how to trust each other in making decisions. And I decided not to control, and I wasn't going to punish you if you were wrong. I was like, okay, the truth is we can find a ring anywhere.
It was a surrender process.
It was a surrender process.
Just surrendering to it.
And so we ended up we went to this mall with my best friend was there, which is pretty special.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing.
Yeah, randomly that it was in Chicago, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So we went shopping, and we go to the store. It's going out of business sale.
For reals.
She knocks over a sign.
Yep.
And under the sign, we see this band, and it's a band on each side. And it's a set, and it's like blingy as possible. It's beautiful. 70% off. $5 less than the amount I had prayed for. I had said 70% off, and then I'd given a number that we wouldn't pay more than. And so it's $5 less than that.
Which made this a really expensive band if you'd paid full price on it.
I know, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was a great deal. So anyway, I show Justin the ring, and I'm so excited because it feels like it's perfect. And he says, I just don't feel like it's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I was so sad.
Oh, I could see her go into mopey poopy pants.
Oh yeah.
Mode. I mean, she was Eeyore, but not in a mean way.
No, I was really sad.
Yeah. I could just see her go, whoa.
But there was something in me that really had learned, like, I believe it's not that I'm just trusting my husband. It's that I'm trusting that good things will happen for me. And so if he makes a mistake,
yep.
That doesn't prevent good things happening to me.
Yep.
So if he says no to this ring,
mistake that I make, there's still goodness for your life.
Yeah. If you say no to this ring and it was the ring that was supposed to be mine, then another ring will be better that will come along.
Yeah.
Which is the abundant mentality. I believe good things are coming, so I don't have to control you. I don't have to be angry. I can trust you.
Yeah.
And that had been the journey that our dating experience had done. Like every time you set boundaries with me, I trusted he follows his intuition well.
Yep.
And I remember actually hearing this. I heard these words: "If you will trust him, even if he's wrong, I'll bless you."
Yeah.
Because there was something about me learning to surrender and trust.
Yep.
That it was more important for me to trust you than for us to do the perfect thing.
Yep.
So I didn't do it. And so I didn't get the ring.
She goes walking off, doing her thing, and I'm gonna continue to go browsing, and we end up heading over to the Cheesecake Factory.
Yep.
And we're at the Cheesecake Factory, and we order dessert, and dessert comes out. Now I learned a little move from my dad years ago. I don't know where he came up with this at and why this is a great idea, but this dessert comes out, and on top of the dessert
is a ring.
So I knew it the minute I saw it. This is the ring. This is the band.
Yep.
This is absolutely the band. Unquestionably, this is supposed to be there. But I didn't want to be like, yeah, okay, cool story. Yes, just here's some money. Let's buy it and put it. No, I wanted like something epic to happen. So
yeah. And it was epic. I cried. Everybody thought you were proposing to me, but we were already married.
Yeah. But here's the thing about this, and this is another a takeaway that I want people to take away from this. Sometimes we'll feel a no on something in our life.
Yep.
Right? And that's what you were saying. You felt that no. But we don't know that there's actually
a yes coming.
A yes coming. And a yes that actually has our heart in mind. Because in the middle of that no was me going like, oh, absolutely, yes, this is great. I love this. I just don't love it for this moment.
Yeah.
I want this to be even more special.
Totally.
There's a yes in here, but I want it to be extravagant, even in the delivery of it, that is memorable instead of like, oh, and then we bought it out of the shop. But no, you get to go sit and have an experience where everyone's cheering us on. I mean, like, we get to walk away from that moment. And you're like, oh, when I got that,
it was like being re-proposed to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love proposals.
She loves being proposed to. And that worked great for her. It might not work for other people, but it worked well for
magic.
her. Yeah.
And this is what I'll say. When you put all the three pieces together, because the band set was 2 pieces, everywhere I went, people were like, I've never seen a ring like that.
Yeah.
Because the way it fit
stunning.
Perfectly together. It looked incredible. People thought we were super rich.
It looks
they
like
didn't know that
estate jewelry.
Yeah.
Because of the style of it.
It was stunning. But it was, so every time I looked at my ring, I thought, this is the promise. Justin may not look like what I wanted, but we're going to, like, more is coming.
Yep.
And we will end up being exactly what we had hoped for.
Yep.
It ended up being so unique, so beautiful. It was beyond what I had dreamed of for a wedding ring. And I knew this is the same for us. And that has been the journey that we've been on. And I can truly say now, you are everything and beyond on my list, but we had to work some stuff out.
You too, boo. You too. And I want to say
we've used boo on the podcast more than we ever have in real life.
No. I say that. I say it.
I don't know you want to claim that.
But here's the deal. When I look at my story, and even the story of this ring specifically. Yeah. As a guy in his early 20s that didn't have a ton of money.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
And that was just being as stewarding his life as best as possible, his finances, making good decisions at every turn that I could. There was a provision that transcended.
Yep.
My moment, what I could have ever done. There was a provision in that ring from the ring, the big chunk of money being provided for the main
somebody
ring
just dropped it
to
in.
Another part of the ring
being 70% off.
And so by the time we're done, I'm looking at this very expensive ring. If I had paid for it out of my own pocket,
yes,
that I could have never paid for. And
never.
I want you guys to begin to think of that as you're listening to these stories. Like, what part of my life am I not trusting for a provision that's bigger than me, where I'm dreaming in very small ways? rather than letting go and going, all right, well, I'm going to let myself dream big dreams, and I'm going to let that unfold in ways that maybe I won't be able to put together myself.
Right.
And that's the beauty of it.
This is the beauty of trust, is that things beyond what you can do on your own. When you feel like you're on your own, there's so much pressure and stress to figure out all the details. But if you trust that, I know for us, a lot of our trust has been in God, that we have somebody with us that wants good for us.
Yep.
But anytime you're just engaging trust that you are not alone, that good things are coming, that there is abundance, that you don't have to figure it all out, you will be amazed at what kinds of things happen.
And I hope that as you all have listened to this today, that it starts taking pressure off of yourself, where you start releasing the pressure valve. Hey,
you don't have to have all the answers.
Fun, wild things can happen.
Yep.
Hey, I'm in a season that feels scary and doesn't feel like I see a light at the end of the tunnel. And
I must be in the adventure.
Right. I must be in the middle of the adventure, and maybe that there's going to be a really beautiful story. And even for me, as I've continued on the journey of my life, I've gotten excited about the story that's being written.
Yes.
Instead of trying to control everything, I'm just like, I want to get to the end of my life and get to read the book.
Yeah.
Like, there's a real cool book being written, and the best books have the most risks and the twists and the turns and the unknowns. And you watch the character and you go, oh, I don't know if they're going to survive this.
Totally.
This is horrible. And then they bounce back and everything. And if we start with a childlike wonder, engaging life in that way, and just, again, going back to the word surrender we've been talking about, we get ourselves in a position of writing amazing stories. And we should start, how do I put this? I started getting excited about the story. So as you walk away, get excited about your story. Know that this moment changes.
Yes.
We get so scared that this is forever what's right in front of us, and it's not. The chapters are always changing, and the story is always evolving.
I agree. Couldn't have said it better.
So next episode,
we
may be what? What'd you say?
We're talking about sex.
We may be.
We're
probably going to talk about our first year of marriage, and sex is going to be involved inside of that.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing, steamy sex we're going to talk about. Oh, come on. Stop it now. Stop it. We
Okay,
might even talk about a boil.
We will probably do that. Let's sign off with our new goodbye. Do you remember it?
Do you have homework? You're the homework queen.
I am the homework queen.
I
forgot this is a thing. Okay. Your homework is to look for areas that things worked out for good for you. Mm-hmm. Because the more we look back on our story and we see how things did work out good for us, we can either filter that things never work out, or we can filter that things do work out. And the more we filter, like, no, that worked out for me in the past, then we can actually look forward in our future and see that will happen there.
There's goodness in our history, and understanding that helps us to get into a posture of surrender and trust, knowing that it's going to be fully available now and later on in life.
Okay. But do you remember our bye?
No.
It goes like this. Bye.
No, I don't want to do that. Ugh. I don't want to be ominous. No, we can't say bye.
Bye-bye now.
Get onto iTunes.
Oh.
If y'all haven't done it yet,
rate and review.
Rate, review, subscribe.
Subscribe. It will help us.
Yes, and it helps everybody else.
Yes.
That we don't charge for this. We're not going to charge for it.
Nope.
You just get out there and just do that part, and then everything else is good.
And then we can keep going.
And then Facebook.com/The Connected Life Podcast.
And us on Instagram.
Yeah, follow us there. And on Instagram, Abby Stumball and Justin Stumball, ABI. All right. So, goodbye.
Goodbye.